Tisa to please come forward to place the Constitution with Sister Mary.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to all gathered in this sacred space of Sacred Heart Chapel, and to those who join us virtually. A special warm welcome to Alice, Mary's sister, and Marty, Mary's brother. Her brother Jimmy welcomes her home to our God today. And to all the Garrity family, nieces and nephews, grands and friends, she loved you so. Gratitude to Father Ralph Sommer, pastor of St. Bernard's, Father Bill Sweeney, Father Galetto, for celebrating with us and Marty today. And of course, Mary's treasured community of sisters and staff at Sacred Heart Convent are with us in love and spirit, especially her dear friend, Sister Catherine Stacy, whose family joins us today. We come together today to celebrate the life of our beloved Sister Mary Garrity, formerly Sister Frances Martin, a sister of St. Joseph for 74 faithful and grace-filled years. In Mary's own words, written at the time of her 25th Jubilee, she stated, "My journey as a sister of St. Joseph has been energizing as well as challenging. Aware of the hand of God in my life, I am able to live each day to the full, minute by minute, knowing that God has and will always be my yes. And with that yes, I get the courage and strength that I need for whatever lies ahead." For the next almost 50 years, Mary lived those words with fidelity and joy in the service of God's people. Born to Irish immigrants, Martin and Alice Garrity, Mary's early years were nurtured by her wonderful and cherished Garrity family and the vibrant family life at St. Francis Xavier Parish in Brooklyn. Mary's skilled reputation of doing Irish dancing on the radio set her apart as a family and neighborhood star. I see Marty shaking his head. After graduating from St. Joseph's High School, Mary entered the community and later earned degrees from St. John's University, Hunter College, and the Postgraduate Center for Mental Health. Mary often said that her early years as an elementary school teacher shaped her understanding of human dynamics and the innate goodness of people that led her into many faithful and happy years of ministry in the Conciliar movement, campus ministry, parish outreach, and service to the congregation as a regional superior. Mary treasured her life in community, and after her 39 graced years as part of St. Bernard's Parish community, she moved to Sacred Heart Convent in Hempstead. There, Mary often referred to herself as God's brat. God's brat, you heard that right. Her ability to have mischievous fun and look at the bright side of life was coupled with her daily focus on prayer and reflection. Christine Marr and the sisters and staff at Sacred Heart lovingly recalled Mary's wholehearted participations in Friday afternoon concerts. With her kazoo in her hand and a twinkle in her eye, Mary relished her favorite Irish tunes as her characteristic, whimsical smile lit up the room. Mary's need to to be perfectly coiffed was beyond compare. Her ability to put an outfit together with matching earrings was done with great care, and always a splash of Estee Lauder. Mary's cell phone message reflected her life of kindness, care, and gratitude. She reminded the caller of God's unconditional love, and I quote, God loves you just the way you are, not the way you want to be. Relax, enjoy life, and put up your feet. And with those poignant words of advice, I now ask Sister Mary Ann Ambrose, Mary's lifelong friend, to share a personal reflection. Mary Ann came after recovering from surgery last week.
Sister Mary Garrity, a woman of great faith and great love. Mary treasured her heritage, Irish strong, her family, and the community of the Sisters of St. Joseph. To quote Reverend Michael Himes, theologian at Boston College, who in this very chapel in July 1986 stated, "We come from community to community." I dare say Mary Garrity and the Garrity family are a beautiful sign to this day of that reality. There are the nightly calls with Alice and Marty, Jimmy's calls on Sunday afternoon, and you needed to be sure you did not call in those designated hours. They were for Alice, Marty, and Jimmy. Their care, love, and concern for each other began in the home that Martin and Alice Garrity created in Brooklyn so many years ago. How very proud they must be of their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Mary beamed when she spoke of her siblings and the grandchildren and the nieces and nephews. We come from community to community. September 8, 1948, Mary entered the congregation of the Sisters of St. Joseph. Being a sister of St. Joseph meant everything to Mary. Whatever she was asked to do, Mary did. It was for the community. Each day of the 2016 chapter, Mary would drive to Brentwood from Levittown to be there at each meeting. Each day she would say to me, "If I'm breathing, I'll be here." And that she was. Mary took community life seriously. Cooking. I loved calling her when she was cooking because you'd hear the great menu, often including the prepared extra touches, her famous twice-baked potato, and the delicious rum cake. I do have the recipe if anyone is interested. Perhaps one could say St. Bernard's in Levittown was unique in Mary's life, having lived in that convent for 39 years. Those sisters shared many ups and downs, joys and sorrows with Mary, the birth of nieces and nephews, the death of her parents. It was in St. Bernard's the Garrity clan would gather for Thanksgiving. Mary loved preparing the meal and the laughter that would be part of the day. Mary became involved with the Consolation Ministry and Hospitality Committee. She was very excited to form the St. Joseph Guild, her hospitality weekend group. She even insisted on a banner she could hang each weekend that she was assigned to hospitality. She immediately struck a deal with her friends at Panera Bread for fresh bagels, spreads, and juices to be delivered. Not to mention prayer cards and gimmicks for God to be put on the table. Mary continued this until 2019 when she moved to Sacred Heart. We come from community to community. Mary also created community for others to come to be loved and, I dare say, be challenged. St. Joseph's High School was the place where lifelong friendships were formed with the young women she taught. Mary was all about relationship. If she called you friend, she meant it and lived it. You could count on her. Roe Catholic shared how Sister Mary had gone from teacher to friend to family. There would always be a group of St. Joseph's girls at the annual spring luncheon in Brentwood sitting with Mary. If Mary called and said, "Come to the luncheon," St. Joe's girls were there. Mary Garrity so enjoyed her time at the St. Paul's Center with the Curcio movement. Mary was the first woman to be named spiritual director, a distinction few of us knew. I learned it when I emptied a box that was under her bed. Awards were not important to Mary, people were. One of her many joys was when the women from the various Curcio groups over the last 50 years would call inviting her to give a talk or join the group for lunch. When COVID changed our lives, Mary learned the skill of the iPad and was doing Zoom presentations for the women. Then, of course, was the standard Friday morning gathering, or Weight Watchers with the women. Mary earned lifelong membership status, but she also made friends that would continue to connect with her, calling to see how she was and if she needed a ride. We come from community to community, and sometimes we invite others to become community, and Mary did just that. Many, if not all, who knew Mary immediately see a butterfly when we think of her. It was her trademark, a butterfly pin on every outfit, a butterfly sticker on a card, or even a butterfly stamp. That was Mary. So much so that at one of her celebrations, there was even a butterfly release. Perhaps it was the transition to butterfly from caterpillar that attracted Mary. She had many transitions. Mary took risk upon often stepping out first to give it a try. Looking through pictures with Mary, there was the house picture with all the sisters in their modified habit and Mary in her blue polka dot dress. Or the year she spent in an apartment with sisters on Front Street to be closer to the people. Mary's time as regional superior was full of excitement as she and Eileen Taylor would take road trips to Colorado or Florida when needing to visit a sister at a distance. Oh, how the two of them would laugh describing the adventure. Our very own Thelma and Louise. After that wild ride, Mary was hired to work at Thompson Solution Center in Connecticut in the clerical and event planning department. You know that was right up Mary's alley. She loved it. 2000 to 2005. One of her responsibilities was following up on executives who failed to respond to events. One executive called the CEO of Thompson Solution and asked, "Who is this Mary Garrity?" He was coming to the event just to meet her. His description of his experience was perfect. He said, "You know, she is a velvet hammer." Mary had a way of driving her point home. She spoke her truth to you. Of course, the truth was followed by a twinkle of the eye and a sly smile, and sometimes the raising of the eyebrow, often accompanied by her keen Irish wit. I know, we often had hours-long conversations in her favorite place, Miller's Ale House. And every meal ended with a hot fudge sundae. The server would be told upon our sitting, "I'll have an Arnold Palmer," and end with a hot fudge sundae. The actual dinner was incidental. But oh, how we laughed. How lucky was I to be called her friend and she mine. Finally, Rob Catholic, Mary's godson, shared how sometimes he would call her phone just to hear her voice message. Always wanting to be encouraging, Mary always had an upbeat message to remind you to be good to yourself. Perhaps some of you have never heard that message. I invite all to hear it and remember it. It's Mary's wish for us. Sorry.
Mary, I'm sorry that I'm not here at the moment to answer your phone, but if you leave your name, your phone number, and a brief message, I will be delighted to answer, to get back to you. With all this chaos that we have experienced for the last couple of months, just remember that God loves you through it all. He loves you just the way you are, not the way you want to be. Take some time today to just think how much you're loved. Take a few minutes today to repeat it and just say thank you. Have a wonderful day. God's peace.
Yes, Mary, well done. Today we celebrate your life with us now and how you will be with us. Mary Garrity, I invite you and all the saints of God in glory. Be with us, rejoice with us, sing praise with us, and pray with us now.